Throughout the construction of my cross-media package, I used a variety of media technologies which made me produce a successful poster, website and trailer. When planning my product, I'd used Prezi, which is a cloud-based presentation software and storytelling tool which allows users to present ideas on a virtual canvas. I decided to use this instead of Microsoft Word or PowerPoint as I wanted to be creative within my work. From using Prezi for my initial ideas, I discovered it was quite simple to use and it had various options to make my presentation look detailed yet attractive. I discovered by double tapping anywhere on the canvas, a text box would immediately occur, allowing users to type. Towards the top of the page is a toolbar which allows users to insert images or videos from Google or YouTube. You can also change the shapes of the text boxes and change the theme of the presentation. When I'd finished constructing my presentation, I could then save it and embed a link to copy into WordPress post. A problem I had to deal with was the fact that the server was down, therefore in order to see my presentation I had to click on the link, which would have directed me straight onto the Prezi website. Throughout the making of my product, I'd use WordPress, which is a free and open source blogging tool and a content management system which runs on a web hosting service. The main advantages of using this software are it's available anywhere, therefore can easily be accessed on phones or laptops. It allows me to upload video files from YouTube as well as JPEG files. From using WordPress, I also discovered I could produce online polls by using PollDaddy for my audience feedback, which was beneficial as I didn't need to use a separate website to do this. I could then embed the poll onto my own blog and change the colour scheme of it. The main digital technology I'd used to produce my work was on the iMac. This was very beneficial to me as it was much easier to use compared to my laptop. Taking screenshots on the iMac was very useful to use as I could measure and select how much of the area I want. Unlike PCs and laptops, when I normally take screenshots, the whole image of the screen is captured and then I would have had to crop the area I wanted. Taking screenshots on the iMac instantly saved them onto my desktop, which then allowed me to import these images on Final Cut Pro or assert them on my WordPress blog. Another benefit of using the iMac was that it was easier to switch onto different apps such as Safari or Photoshop. When analysing other cross-media packages, this was very helpful as it shows miniature versions of all apps along with their windows clustered together, so it was easy to switch onto different poster website trailers, and the iMac was also allowed me to drag one of the apps onto my spaces. Photobooth is an app on the iMac which allowed me to record my focus group and easily embed it into WordPress. This didn't take long to make and it was very easy to use. Overall, using the iMac was a faster and more helpful approach compared to using my laptop. Having used Photoshop with previous work, I was familiar with some of the tools, however I was also introduced to some new tools. For both the images on my post and website, I decided to blend 3 images as one. These images were one of the characters, location and the sky. By using the magnetic lasso tool and the magic wand tool, I was able to cut my characters out from the background and place them in a position on my poster and website. The image of the location I used was Council Flats. I had decided to add in a hue/saturation effect to make the image look slightly darker, and I changed the curve levels of the image so the image looked more vivid. For the image of the sky, I had to drag it onto the image of the location, transforming it to make it look smaller so it fits for the whole of the sky. I then hid the first layer and created a layer mask on the image of the sky by using the layer mask tool. I then selected the gradient tool on the toolbar and changed the colour to black to white and then smoothed out the image so you could see the background of the sky. Once I had edited my images of Photoshop, I was allowed to merge these layers together. I had done this for both my images on my poster and website. As well as Photoshop being useful for editing images, it also allowed me to add effects on pieces of text. On the title of the film, I had added a stroke on the layer style and reduced the opacity of the text so the title stood out from the image. For my tagline, I had added a drop shadow effect using the layer style. This made the tagline look bold. Before constructing my auxiliary text, I had to take images for them. I had used a digital SLR camera, which is very beneficial as the quality of the images is higher than most digital cameras, although it is strongly affected by the choice of lens. When I had taken these images, I used a green screen and studio lighting equipment to create ambiguous lighting in my images for the post and website. The SLR also captures more dynamic range than vast majority of fixed lens cameras. When filming for my trailer, I also used the SLR for some of the shots, including the time-lapse. The SLR had a built-in timer which was very useful as it captured images every couple of seconds for a period of time. The main advantages of using this camera for filming similar work is that it focuses faster and shoots faster for longer when capturing a moving subject. I also used a normal HD video camera to capture high quality footage. When filming my narrative, I'd use my iPhone, which was easier and quicker to use. However, once I recorded my voice notes, I had to convert the files using Visual Hub from WAV to MP3, which was time consuming. When producing my trailer, I'd use Final Cut Pro, which is a non-linear editing software, and it's beneficial as it makes editing easier, faster and quicker. Having only used this for the second time, I was introduced to many new tools, and they were quite easy to use. At the beginning of using Final Cut Pro, I learnt how to export as a MOV in PAL format for the resolution to be correct. I imported many footage of my video camera onto Final Cut Pro to edit. Using the selection tool, I reordered different sections of the footage, and then using the razor blade tool, I deleted unnecessary footage of my trailer. When importing the sound onto my sequence, I had to use the toggling clip overlays. This had brought up a red line, and using the pen tool, which allows me to add key points, I had to manipulate the sound levels. I also modified and manipulated the speed levels on some of my shots to fasten the pace of editing as they were too slow. An example of a shot I had done this on was on my time-lapse of the cars and the sky moving. Using special effects on my shots made them look realistic. For example, I had the option to use different video filters and video transitions. I'd used a timecode reader on one of my shots to make it look like a security camera, and I'd also used a cross-dissolve effect on some of my other shots. Not only does Final Cut Pro import JPEG files, but it also imported one of my PSD files, which integrates different softwares together. Once I had finished producing my trailer, I had to export it on YouTube. I used GarageBand when researching up soundtracks for my film trailer. GarageBand is a software application that allows users to create music or podcasts. On this software I'd used creating my soundtrack for my trailer. The only disadvantage I had discovering from using this was that there was not many options of music to consider for my particular genre. However, the advantage of using GarageBand was that the files were MP3, so they were easily worked in Final Cut with no hassle of converting any files. Evaluating my product, I'd used similar and new digital technology to construct all four of my evaluations. I used QuickTime Player, which is a multimedia framework developed by Apple. This app allowed me to capture part of the screen I wanted to record, then it automatically saves as a movie format, allowing me to import it directly onto Final Cut Pro. I use this app to show my evaluation. I am using different tools such as the lasso or the Magic Wand tool. I also use Wireworks for my first question, which allows me to add motion tracking hotspots or tags to people and objects in the video. This form of digital technology was beneficial as it added more detail onto my video and made it look more attractive.